Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV here in Zurich for the Zurich Invest and the Zurich Invest Night, of course. It's my honor and pleasure for the first time to interview Renaud Adams, the CEO of IAMGOLD. Great gold producer on the path to 500,000 ounces per annum. Renaud, good morning. Hope you're doing fine.
Very good, very good. Exciting time at IAMGOLD.
Absolutely exciting. I just checked the gold price and it was 2,366 or something, yeah? So it looks like we're getting a hockey stick, but let's see what happens. It looks like there's a big state buyer in it. Yeah. But anyhow, we enjoyed that time because we waited for it a long time. But IAMGOLD. First of all, can you give us a short overview on the company? Because you are the first time on Commodity TV.
Yeah, this is a company that has a very unique opportunity, right? It's called Coté Gold. The company used to be very successful operating in West Africa, South America, and acquired this wonderful asset in 2012. And now, because I used to be with the company, I'm coming back at the time where we're commissioning and the first gold. But this is an asset that is already classified as the second largest gold deposit in Canada, potentially the third largest gold production profile as well, and we're just at the early days. So we're really shifting now our portfolio to Canada with a strong focus. Over 75% now valuation is in Canada. And in a growing profile. So this is really the story over the next years to come, is to establish and grow our presence in Canada.
Okay, super. Then let's stick already with Coté Gold. You are in the ramp up to commercial production. So so far everything is going fine?
Very good, actually. We started the pre-commissioning activity early in January, managed it less than 90 days, first gold last week. Now shooting for the commercial production, 60% average for 30 days by early Q3, with the big objective to exit the year at the 90% plus of the nameplate. So it's a year of ramp up, but so far what we've seen is the equipment perform extremely well. The power consumption as well is way within, our design. So everything shows, that we're up to a very successful ramp up. Yeah.
Fantastic. What would be the full capacity per year then?
We, in terms of throughput, we'll like to be towards the 35,000 tons a day throughput. Better grade this year at the 1.5 grams a ton. Then the next 5 years should be towards the 1.3 grams a ton. So that's going to position ourselves at 35,000 tons a day to be close to the 500,000 ounces, so the 100% basis for the next 5 years on the full.
Only from Coté then, 500,000?
Only from Coté.
Wow.
And we're still operating the mine in Burkina Faso, where 90% of it, government has a 10%. This is a mine that has averaged about 400,000 ounces of productions a year. And now we're turning the Westwood asset around as well, potentially 100, 120 this year, maybe more towards a 125 in the future. And that would also contribute to the cash flow of the company. So
super. So we can say, let's say within the next 5 years, probably the target is to become a 1 million ounce per.
A million will be higher, but too high because we're in a partnership with Sumitomo on Coté Gold. We're currently 60-40% with the path forward to return to 70%. But we could be towards, the 3/4 million ounces.
Still fine, I would say.
Pretty good. Pretty good for a mid-tier producer in Canada.
Okay, super. Before we come to Essakane and Westwood, where do you see the cost situation of Coté going forward? Of course, you are now in the ramp up. This is not really relevant, I would say. You are probably in the, I don't know, $1,800, $900 easily, maybe more. But this comes down with time and more production, of course. But what is your, let's say, your wish? Let's put it that way, because we have to be conservative, no forward-looking statement here, But what could you imagine would be possible going forward the next 2-3 years when you go really to full throttle and full production?
I think Coté has the characteristic to be a sub $1,000 an ounce.
Sub 1,000?
Yeah, because, the 43-101 is outdated a bit, like 22. I was showing an AISC average of $850 an ounce. Since then, there's been some inflations. But the study was made as well using a much lower gold price. So as you mentioned, we are in a very, very good. But not only that, we're in Canada and we benefit largely as well of the currency as well that plays in our favor. So when you add all this, you look at your peers in Canada established, we think that once we ramp up to the full capacity, and everything runs like smoother. We should be a sub $1,000 or at $1,000 an ounce. That would be our goal. Can we achieve that in 25? And you mentioned costs, and the other asset as well are lowering their costs as well this year, and hopefully next year we'll do even better. So we'd like to be, of course, with the main asset, Ben Coté, leading the charge in terms of cost towards $1,000 an ounce.
Okay, super. If you look overall, the group would be something like, let's say, 1,200 then altogether. Would that be something you would say, yeah, that could be possible?
Burkina was a little tough in 23 due to some disruptions and so far, but we've been over now 6 months without any disruptions. The asset is operating extremely well. Should we achieve more towards, like last year we did 1521, you combine this with Coté, then as you say, you could see a company with a too large asset towards the 1,200 providing $1,000 of margin. Westwood was part of a transformation again last year, a little bit more this year. So we see the cost this year to turn into the positive cash flow. But down the road has also the potential maybe to become a 1,500-1,600, but less production. So could we stabilize towards a 1,200 eventually over time? That would be our goal. Yeah.
Okay, so even if it would be 1,300, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Those gold prices,
we'll take it.
doubt.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. If we look at the financial side, I think you have a lot of liquidity. Parts of it is a lot of cash. And what is your debt situation today, and where do you see, let's say, capex investments for the next years? Will they grow? Will they go a little bit down? Because then you have the commercial production at Coté. You need maybe not to invest a lot more. So can you give us a bit of a flavor?
No, definitely this year is a much higher capital than what we see down the road for different reasons. Starting with the outside of the Cote Gold, Burkina Faso is in this 5-6 years of last years of the mine life, so you'll see a significant reductions of capital from this year to next to to eventually bring it down to very close to zero as we exit. So that's a big contributor. Westwood the same. We put a lot of money in rehabilitations to turn and rebuild the mine, which will also start next year to go down. So those are the two outside of Coté. Coté this year is a big year because we complete the constructions, we ramp it up. Starting next year, we would be sitting on just the sustaining capital. So the three assets should see from 25 a lower capital moving forward with a growing, of course, production profile, lower cost. So the margin will be there. So you talk about the debt. We're currently sitting on two pieces of debt, like long-term, a senior note, $450 million, and a term loan of $400. But with the cash flow we're going to be generating starting next year and move on. So we're definitely going to take debt repayment as a priority. But first, we want to return to the 70% of Cote Gold, right?
Okay. How would that work that you come to 70%? Could you buy that 10%
yes.
back?
Yes, it was designed really to be a 70-30% with our partner Sumitomo, but part of the funding to build Cote was to, let's call temporarily, sell another 10% to Sumitomo. But we had a very, very good agreement with them, and we allowed to purchase back the 10% twice a year until 26. So a lot of time, and we feel strong about going back to the 70% with increase, of course, the cash flow and our capacity of debt repayment and growth as well.
Okay, super. You have now 3 mines in production. Any plans, let's say, I don't know, how can I say that? M&A, of course, you're not allowed to talk about, but could you imagine if there's an opportunity that you say, oh, maybe in Canada we add something, US, whatever?
Well, the truth is very few companies are sitting in the what I would call like the growth, like situations as we have at Coté. It's very organic. So 7.5 million ounces form the plan for the next 18 years. But we're already sitting on 17 million of measured indicated plus another 4 millions, and it keeps growing, and we're going to complete another 35 kilometers of drilling this year. So before we even think of adding something else, we're just so poised with organic growth at Coté. So expect us to really focus on that and try to bring part of those 17 million quicker in the plan, which obviously will have a great impact on the valuation of the asset. So, so yes, there could be some opportunity in Canada, but first, we don't feel we have to. We feel we're already sitting on a potential addition of mine just through organic growth.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's assume things go extremely well, everything works out, you come to the, let's say, 750,000 ounces production per annum. Then we talk about 700 million, probably assuming gold prices stay the same or even a little bit higher. Then we talk about around $700 million gross profit. That's a lot of money. So what could you imagine to do with that, meaning share buybacks, dividends, etc., things like this?
I would say the priority will be debt repayment, so that's for sure. I mean, those pieces that are debt are due in 28, so there's no doubt in my mind we'll have all kind of capacity of restructuring, but it's important to us to reduce the debt. You mentioned dividend, this company used to. That would be a good token as well down the road to our shareholders if we could reestablish dividend for sure. So those two pieces plus the buyback of the 10%, I think we should be okay for the next few years.
Super, because you know the Swiss and also the Germans, they love dividends.
Well, and you know, I'm shareholder as well, and I could understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. Super. Where's the gold price at year end?
Well, everything indicates that we haven't seen the peak yet, right? But for us, like seeing the gold prices today, this is so way above, you know, any expectation we had when the decision was made to build Coté. We got to watch our costs. We got to be very disciplined, really take advantage of this extra margin, you know, to improve our capital structures and so forth, you know, and debt and all. So. Don't have a crystal ball,
of course not,
but
an opinion maybe.
It really looks like it could hit the 2,500, you know, in 24, and if it doesn't, I think we're sitting on a gold price that brings a lot of flexibility for companies to operate and generate a good profit. So
absolutely, especially with falling costs.
We just need to be very disciplined in this industry moving forward to how we protect cost. And of course, the temptation will be to use it to maybe go after lower grade. We're in our case very poised with a decent grade at Coté, so we don't feel we need to play the low grade over the next few years. So we should rather benefit of high margin.
Fantastic, super. I wish you well for that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I think you guys do a great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
More to come.
Absolutely, we stay tuned, definitely.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Renaud Adams, the CEO of IAMGOLD, and you heard it. Organic growth is the key to success, and of course, if there's a cheap M&A, they would look at it, but I like the organic growth, and I like the conservative approach. First of all, to repay the debt also, then to look after dividends, because that company will make a lot of money over the next years. It's a fantastic growth story with 3 mines and 75% approximately then in Canada, which is also fantastic. And I think you really should have a look onto this great company. And my feeling is, yeah, this will go extremely well. So thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich, from the Zurich Invest Night.